On this week's episode of the Superhero Show, we'll find out
if Spider-Man falls for Black Cat,
if the Black Cat will rescue him from the fall,
and what happens when a baby is a crime boss.
All of that and more on an all-new episode of the Superhero Show.
Hello, nerds, and welcome to the Superhero Show, the only podcast that covers every single TV show based on comic books that we feel like watching. And you know what? This week, we don't want to watch anything that came out this past week. We don't want to watch anything that came out this century, this millennia. What we want to do is talk about gosh darn Spider-Man the Animated Series, but I'm not going to just do it alone. I'm not just going to monologue at you kittens. With me is Ryan.
I really want you to call our fans something else, and I do not care what it is. I just have like one word that I don't want you to call them, and it's kittens.
You don't like, hey, kittens?
No.
Greg Proops doesn't have his podcast anymore, so I thought that was up for grabs.
No, because we can't afford it. Like, it's still on the market, and he said he's selling it for $250,000. Is that what you want to pay?
All right, you maggots. That's what Slipknot calls their fans.
Okay, again, already taken, and so close to maggots, which I don't know if that's what you want to do.
Oh, like MAGATS. Maggots. I've never said that out loud.
How about schlishies?
You schlushies. Wait, nerds. I started with saying hello, nerds.
You already figured it out.
Hello, schlushies. Ryan, how do you feel that we're only going to be doing as Spider-Man?
I'm so excited. I can't talk to you about What If at all anymore. You're filled with so much hate and pessimism that I can't believe that we just get to talk about and Mike, I have watched all of X-Men, the animated series. One of the wildest cartoons I have ever watched in my entire life.
And its own unique wildness. They were not trying to cop X-Men's wildness.
No.
I think they were trying to make a normal TV show, and they're loons.
And there's so much that is talked about with SNL in the early days, how much drug-fueled it was.
Sure.
Or like the National Lampoon, how much cocaine was running through that. Some of these Smataz episodes, I really think that they were trying to cop that whole SNL early day feel.
Yes. And I think this run and this specific episode taught a lot of kids about puberty and sex. Welcome to S Tasmania, bitch, a mini show within a show where we dive into the seminal and underrated after-school cartoon of the mid-90s, Spider-Man, the animated series. When we open up on the 5th episode of the 4th season, Partners in Danger, partners, ... in ... danger. Black Cat is doing Spidey's thing, where she's swinging because for some reason this version of Black Cat swings around the city.
And I swear, those webs come directly from her wrist. Like
yes.
It really, like there's no like whip or anything involved.
He should sue her because she is fully stealing his trademark move. But she is swinging around the city being negative. Just like, Spider-Man doesn't want me. This is what Black Cat feels like. She is fully copying all of his styles right now. And then she says, bingo, crime in progress, because she just sees mass dudes doing a thing.
And so this is not, we should talk about the Felicia Hardy that we know who loves a big gem.
No.
And it likes to steal it from museums or is an exact copy of Catwoman. But this is somebody who was like, I'm going to be a superhero. Why not? I got super soldier serum or something.
Yeah. She got a version of the super soldier serum or something. And also she's like, wait, those say the Hardy Institute on them, but we don't have those kinds of trucks. Mm-hmm. So she is using some familial know-how.
And we know exactly how rich she is.
Yes.
She is not poor, but she knows what her trucks look like.
Yeah.
That's not super rich. If you know what your truck looks like, then you don't have that much.
Real wealth is you don't even know what kind of vehicle takes your things back and forth. Spidey, also swinging, still doing his negative thing, sees her, and instead of being like, hey, girl, he's like, well, I'm going to follow her just to see what she's up to. Spider style, which he does really say.
He says, maybe I should keep an eye on her spider style. Mike, and I would like you to explain that line to me.
Well, spiders have 8 eyes, so he is going to use his 2 eyes to the power of 8.
To the power of 8.
Stare at that ass, I think is what he's saying.
2 to the power of 8 is 2 times 2, 8 times. So that's a lot of eyes. Also, I think that he was pissed because not because she was going to go do something, but he could feel her like being emo in New York City.
And that's his thing.
That's his thing. It's not stopping crime. It's like sitting on a gargoyle and like complaining.
And even though nobody taught him how to do superhero things, he just keeps telling her, fuck you, you suck at it. Even though she was a criminal when they met, and then she was like, hey, maybe I should be a hero like you. Don't you want to stop crime? If you're an idiot, Spider-Man.
And there's a line here later in the episode that relates to this, but it's very clear right away why he's saying this.
Has to do with those curves.
She is a fragile, sexy girl. So what is she capable of?
She sees dudes with masks and guns at a warehouse, and they start shouting at her because she's not stealthy. She's just like, hey, you guys should stop this. And then she kicks the living crap out of them. And Spidey jumps in to help, but mostly to lecture her that it is too dangerous for her to handle solo. And then she was doing fine until he got in the way and distracted her by lecturing her. And then she kicks ass, which makes him say, Ryan, the line I think you just teased. Do you know what it is?
It's something about maybe I should disregard my chauvinistic pig asshole abilities.
I should reevaluate some of my male chauvinist preconceptions.
This is a classic 80s episode of a 90s TV show in that bullets go through bodies. Lasers only miss. And so if you go up onto a gang of people who only have laser guns, just jump around a little bit, you will be fine. This is why I could never get LASIK surgery, is because they aimed for my eyes, and I was like, bitches.
I grew up watching TV. Get out of here.
What are you, Cobra?
Bullets on me. Then you can fix my eyes. Black Cat gets gassed, and Spidey like saves her, and then Smythe reveals himself. And Spider-Man was like, bro, I thought the last time we talked we were cool. He's like, yeah, but I have a new employer, and he hates you, and also fuck you.
My current employee is also your enemy, which is fantastic for so many reasons. One, Smythe clearly has something checked on his LinkedIn, which is like, are you a villain of Spider-Man? Therefore, I'll work for you. But at this point, Spider-Man has so many enemies.
Yes.
Where's Smythe going to go? Everyone is an enemy of Spider-Man.
Spidey does get taken out, and Black Cat gets kidnapped. She was gassed because of Spider-Man. He let her get kidnapped, but no, keep lecturing her on how to be a hero, Spidey. We cut to...
I think also we sort of hate this because Spider-Man is to be lectured by Cap or Iron Man, right? Like that's our entire lives is like...
Right.
Or maybe Reed Richards lecturing Human Torch and Spider-Man at the same time. But like Spider-Man is to be lectured at.
Right.
And so to listen to him talk to somebody else like this, I don't like it.
Yeah. Have you ever heard like your 15-year-old cousin tell your 10-year-old cousin how they should be? It's not
Motherfucker,
right.
I'm going to knock you out if you talk to her like that.
We cut to, and now this is the wildest fucking episode. There's a baby crying. We hear that. And then we haven't seen, I want to say her name is Alicia Silvermane, in a season and a half. And to this crying baby, she says, quiet, father. And then Silvermane baby boss says, oh, how I rue the day that I ever toyed with that tablet of time. We get a flashback.
Well, I'm so happy for that flashback because a lot of Spider-Man episodes have been watched. But before that, we get an establishing shot of Big Baby, of a factory, with a big sign that says Big Baby Nothing. It's just called
Big Baby.
We don't know what it makes. We just know it's called Big Baby. And it's because Michael... and what I have to assume is what they both thought was an incredible idea and also hilarious.
Yes.
Silvermane is a big baby.
He's a little baby. He's a little big baby. And now so we get the flashback to the Tablet of Time. It was a couple of seasons ago. If you don't remember what happened there, it was wild then, but we also thought he died, and Spider-Man did too. Baby Silvermane is yelling at Smythe. But Smythe is smart for not getting Spider-Man. Smythe is like, no, I have a black cat in this green bubble. And I'm going to lure Spidey, so he has to help us. He's going to get Scorpion or Vulture, or else we kill his girlfriend.
And props to Smythe, because he's like, not both, either or, baby. Like you pick a villain, you capture them, it's cool. We have to go back to Silvermane. This is a baby in his own daughter's arms.
Yes.
And he multiple times in this episode looks like he wants to breastfeed. We can get to that later. They did not get the Silvermane voice actor to do a baby voice. They hired a child to shout out Kang like Dr. Doom like demands as a child, Mike. I could not believe what I was watching.
He said, "Quickly change my diaper," to his mommy daughter. And then we cut to Scorpion, who in some sort of BDSM shithole apartment has the Vulture chained up in shackles, and Vulture just keeps,
and not like in a closet. That's where he'll put his wife later, or his fiance, just in the hallway. Like, if you want to go from the living room to the kitchen, you will have to walk past dirty, stinky Vulture going from 35 to 65 over and over and over again.
And he might try to bite you. I know you're just trying to go to the pantry to get Doritos, but this old freak might bite you.
The Super Bowl party at his house was a little dangerous.
But Sarah said, "Come on, Scorp. Mac, let's do it. It's normal." And she just wants to be normal.
Oh, yeah. No, always trust the word of a fucking girl named Sarah. Red flag number 1.
Red flag.
Who is going out with a guy named Mac Gargan. Red flag number 2. Who also is stuck in his Scorpion costume forever because of a DNA experiment that blew up.
Neogenic nightmare, of course.
And she's just on the phone every night going like, "No, Mom, I know I can change him. Like, I think that he'll be a good guy someday."
There are so many flashbacks at this point to everything. You have to recap on so many different eras of this series to understand what's going on, which I love. That's comic book, baby.
And we've had so many conversations about like why for the last 2 or 3 seasons is this part 5 of something instead of just its own thing. It's so they can not animate as much as they need to and show flashbacks.
But you could still flash back to their episodes without it needing to be fake serialized, whatever. A great Matt Gargan line says, "I need a science guy like you to turn me back into Matt Gargan."
Mike, and how many Matt Gargans have you known in your life?
Like a Matt Gargan type?
Yeah.
Too many. Far too many.
Oh my God, if I don't fucking pack my lunch in a fucking steel box, they'll make fun of me at the construction site, and I'm the Scorpion.
Yeah. And I'm the Scorpion. He goes out. He tries to go out in your classic Raphael TMNT disguise.
The fucking amount of strength it took me while watching this to not text Mike. Oh my God, he's Raphael. Scorpion's Raphael.
And Sarah comes in. She has a Spidey sense of when is Mac putting on his outdoor clothes.
Sure, as most women do when they date a fucking convicted villain who is stuck in a supervillain costume.
But also, she does not give a shit that he is an old, sometimes young dude chained up in their apartment.
Look, man,
she just cares that he might go outside.
I don't care about what you do sexually or otherwise. I just want to marry you.
And she's like, "No, you don't need to go outside." Even though I don't think he was going to commit crimes yet. I saved up $500, and Vulture laughs his locked up ass at her.
To be honest, before it cut to Vulture, I said out loud, $500? Okay, bitch. And then it cuts to Vulture saying like, "Oh, $500? Okay, bitch."
Well, that's how you know you're a Vulture. Also, they got like the worst actress. This is somebody's niece or cousin to play this. This is the worst voice acting I've ever heard. Come on, Matt. I saved $500. You don't need to go.
You just haven't met that many women that are engaged to supervillains. Like, this is how they act.
Far be it from me. We cut to Peter's at home Googling He had 24 hours to find them, and he was like, I have 8 hours left. I think he slept for 12 hours.
A ton, yeah. I mean,
and now he's
I think
like
that he falls asleep
villains
on
where?
gargoyles, right?
Yes.
A lot of that time, he just has to go. You got to sleep sometime.
You got to sleep. Harry Osborn is looking raggedy, is knocking on Pete's door. He's like, hey, man, I'm just real down. I need a friend. And he goes, no, go away, and jumps out the window. But Harry opens the door and is like, where's Pete?
This amount of gaslighting to not just be silent and then escape.
Yeah, that's what he should do.
But to use his voice to say, not right now, Harry, and then leave for Harry to come in and then think, oh, cool, Peter ghost. There's clearly a Peter ghost or I am losing my mind. Peter creates these villains.
Yes, we are fully seeing him create the next Green Goblin and young Harry Osborn. And he sounded broken up. For as much as it made fun of the voice actress who can't act and Sarah, the guy who's playing Harry can act, and he is a person in need and is calling for help.
Well, I love the whole. This has like always been my favorite part of Spider-Man is the whole like Harry and Peter moving in together.
Yeah.
Versus like fighting Dr. Octopus or whatever. What I would have loved is for Mac to not chain up Adrian Toomes. But they got an apartment together,
yes.
and they're trying to figure out life. That would have made this the perfect episode.
Oh, that's the sitcom we need. Spidey goes to Doc Connors, and he's like, hey, can you announce a neogenic breakthrough? Because that will get...
Again?
Vulture or Scorpion out of hiding. And Connors isn't like, I can't do that. He's like, I mean, I am making a breakthrough. It's just not that far along yet,
right.
Which is even funnier.
Oh, and this is because we should say that Felicia Hardy has been kidnapped, and this is how Spidey has to save her.
Yeah, he has 24 hours to save her, and it's to get one of these two neogenic freaks to Smythe and Stein. Mac Gargan sees the weird press conference that Doc Connors just is allowed to call whenever he wants because
it was the 90s, Mike.
It was the 90s.
Often scientists would have press conferences.
Too much power.
Regular.
Scientists have always had.
Yeah.
Sarah comes in again and Scorpion's apartment because she hears him putting on his jacket, but this time he locks her in the closet.
Now, I do want to point out that he could have left very easily without doing any of that.
No, he did not need to do that.
And instead, he puts her in a perfect recording room for podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
She should have started her podcast. Yeah. The clothes, they absorb so much of the volume.
And you don't have to smell the vulture from there. Because Matt Gargan is not sponge bathing Adrian Toomes.
I think that he might be when he's 35, but he has to stop when he turns back to 80.
Yeah, too many folds in the skin. Scorpion does find Spider-Man and easily knocks him aside and then dangles him over the streets. And this is, Matt Gargan's an idiot. Because dangling Spidey off a building is actually not that threatening. The dude who swings through New York for fun.
I mean, like, dangle him off the one building in Nebraska?
Sure.
That's a little
What's
scary.
he going to do?
Right. But here.
Also, it's half a story tall because Nebraska.
Right. I'm sorry. The tallest building is 4'5".
Yes. Matt Gargan now has bags full of money and goes flying off the roof, and people are partying in the streets, grabbing this money. And
this is one of my favorite things. This is a trope.
Yes.
Batman 89, where the Joker just starts throwing out money. And I mean, like, this is the United States right now with Trump of just like, oh, wait, you're clearly evil, but you're going to throw money in the streets?
You're going to throw the money?
Hell yeah.
Did I tell you about the novelization Batman 89?
Right now, no. You did not.
The sequel to Batman 89, it takes place between Batman and Batman Returns that came out this year. It's awesome. And then another one's coming out this year. I'm so pumped.
This is a novelization of a thing that didn't happen?
How would you novelize just called a novel.
Yeah, that's just a book.
Someone wrote a book, Ryan, that takes place in that world. And the way it connects from Batman 89 and Batman Returns, it was awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
When you opened the book, did money shoot out and you lost your fucking mind?
We just partied. Couldn't stop laughing.
It's like, what do you get? $3?
$3.
Go buy yourself
coins.
a Chick-a-Stick. Oh, that's so much funnier. Just launch coins.
Spider-Man and Scorpion are fighting while the people party in the streets, and Scorpion just falls through the roof. Nothing happens. The roof just opens up, and Spidey calls Smythe and he goes, yeah, we got him. And these little drones are taking them back. And then Sarah, because we zoomed in when she was stuck in that closet, we zoom in on a screwdriver. Uh-huh. We don't see her breaking out. We're just led to assume.
Well, I feel like not here where I come from in Southern California, but in New York, you have a closet floor screwdriver just in case.
Of course, just in case. Weapon, escape, a third thing. And Sarah is just following in her Honda Accord. Uh-huh. Just following Spider-Man swing through the city to find out where she's taking her poor Matt Gargan.
Well, doesn't she also release Adrian Toomes to the world?
A little later.
She
she leaves and goes home again and comes back. It's fucking awesome.
The one thing I know, I've never been to New York, but the one thing I know about New York storytelling is they have no idea how driving works. If you want to go somewhere and go back home, that's 4 fucking hours.
Yeah, you'll see Matt Gargan tomorrow.
Every time you say Matt Gargan, I think that you're saying Mac Garglin, which is like take a Big Mac, chew it up.
Yeah.
Why
don't you Mac gargle these balls? While he's swinging towards them, Spider-Man's like, I guess I care about the black cat even more than I know. You're just horny. That's it. You just need a nut.
You're just horny and you just need a nut. And bitch, do you remember the one time at the beginning of this episode where you were like, oh, Mary Jane's missing?
Yeah.
Meh. Just black cat is hot. And
yes.
Here and dangerous.
Down to trot, I think.
Yes. She's hot and down to trot.
Smythe is at like his super 3D computer, and now the green bubble that held Black Cat is also invisible and like can go in and out of dimensions or some shit.
Yeah.
Spidey jumps in, cocky as hell, and instantly gets electrocuted.
He says, well, this is why I'm a male superhero, and this is why male superheroes do things. And yeah, defeated immediately.
Smythe is just like, no, yeah, you can get Black Cat. You did it. Go, but you have to do it. You have to go and walk towards her.
Look, man, I'm just a normal dude who used to look even more like a normal dude, but skin lasers came out of my shoulders that I can shoot at will. You can trust me, bro.
Sarah, having seen this all somehow, is like, well, I'm going to go get the Vulture and say, you have to. And she releases Adrian and says, they're going to neogenic him or something.
Which, Sarah, you are us at this point. Like, you are the audience's role model here.
These children watched this show and had to hold on to all these stupid fucking words. Scorpion is in your normal science bed, vertical, gauntlets up, and then there's another bed, and baby boss Smythe is in it in baby-sized gauntlets. And he says, I want to be a man again. Some youth and superpowers.
Guys, I want to let the audience know that you should watch this episode. We are not giving full attention to this little baby who is talking like Silvermane would if he was 80, but he's a baby, but it's voiced by a child. Not a baby, but not an 80-year-old man. Just a 6-year-old child in the body of a baby, but in the body of with the mind of an 80-year-old man.
Yes. Lasers are flying everywhere.
One
because the Vulture is now in here fighting. So lasers are fighting everywhere. One releases Spidey, who then, like a mousetrap, he then releases the Scorpion and Black Cat, who released somebody else probably. Silvermane gets old again because the Vulture goes in.
And then says, as I quote, too old.
Yes, too old.
The machine works so well. And bitch, fucking, you have not figured out the Benjamin Buttons aspect of this science.
No.
You have gone, you're lucky that you were a baby. Like, you could have been a fetus.
Yes.
And then liberals would have stomped on you because they hate fetuses.
You're not a person.
But no, of course, too old is going to happen. Too old.
Too old. And Vulture's young, full of cum. Smythe is just out of nowhere. He's like, the Recombinator is probably going to overload it and kill us all. Smythe rudely, in all this fighting, calls Scorpion a freak of nature, which pot meat kettle. And Alicia, Smythe, and Old Man Silvermane run out, and she just has a seal the lab button right on that side of the door to seal in Scorpion, Spider-Man, Sarah, and Black Cat. And then on their way out, Alicia says, "Father, at least you won't be in diapers anymore."
Okay, so now we know we're watching a comedy, right? Like, yes. I don't want to step on what you're about to say, but now we know the writers understand that this is absurd. Go ahead, please.
Because Silvermane, now too old, says, "I wouldn't be so sure," and then gives the biggest old man I'm pooping right now face that I've ever seen.
He says, "I wouldn't be so sure," which is a punchline. But his face then fully fills his pants with shit.
Yes. And still expects mommy daughter to take care of him. Instead of the people who are trapped in the recombinator room that's going to explode, instead of saying, "Scorpion, shoot your tail right there, let's all get out of here, nobody wants to die," Spider-Man and Black Cat bully and insult him until he accidentally shoots where they want to. Come on, guys.
What are you going to do? I mean, you got to use whatever superpower you have.
And cruelty is theirs.
Yeah.
He sort of opens it, and Black Cat goes to rip the rest of the door off, and Spidey's like, "You should move. It takes muscle." And then she rips off the whole door, and he goes, "Okay."
I love when the main character learns a lesson too early in an episode of TV that they forget it by the end.
Yes, that's realistic. That's more realistic than most shows. And then they kind of all go their separate ways, and Cat and Spidey are like, "Maybe we should be partners." Mm-hmm. And she kisses him on the cheek. I
mean, nobody asked me, but I think they should fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you not see the post credits that I drew?
I did. You mailed me a Post-it note, a Post-it pad, but I haven't flipped through it yet.
Yeah, you should do yourself a flavor.
What a fucking episode of television, Mike. I could not believe what I was watching.
It was so glorious. I loved it. Let's get to the awards. Ryan, do you have a web zinger?
I do, but I do want to say that you and Cassie handled the previous Craven episode incredibly. But that introduced Calypso.
Yeah.
Somebody who I only know through Marvel cards.
Same.
Just that was such like a, comparatively speaking, normal episode of TV.
Yes.
Okay, so my zinger is not the typical Peter Parker, "I'm so funny." It just made me laugh the hardest, which was him watching Alicia come out holding a baby and then saying, Silvermane is alive? Silvermane is that baby? It is, Peter, and we all have to deal with that.
What kind of show am I on? Mine is, "Father, at least you won't be in diapers anymore. I won't be so sure."
Fucking 90s sitcom bullshit. There should have been a laugh track for that 1 second.
Yeah, just. What was your kung fu grip?
It was when Spider-Man is chained to the adult cuffs, not the baby cuffs that Silvermane was in, but the adult-sized cuffs, and a laser perfectly hits one hand, and Spider-Man doesn't say even like, "Oh, fuck," or "That was lucky." He's just matter-of-factly undoes the other cuff.
Yep. Because his other superpower is luck.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Sure."
Is that a thing that Black Cat has? I think she does make people lucky, right?
In the comic, she can get you lucky. I think is what she'll say. Mine is just like early on, Felicia versus those mask guys, she just kicks ass. There's not one specific move. She just goes through it and is doing great until Spider-Man shows up.
I mean, like, this is like the first 10 minutes of this episode is Raiders. Yeah. You know how people talk about how Raiders of the Lost Ark, Harrison Ford is not important in the movie at all?
Right.
The first 10 minutes, like, we didn't need Spider-Man, and he just keeps injecting himself.
We're just watching the Black Cat show. What is your 90s moment?
It's kind of like tired, but I have to go with the DNA computer.
Of course it's the DNA. It's so 3D. It's annoying. And
it goes from a perfect helix on the screen in 3D to all the green words coming up, which is how computers work. But I loved Smythe's, I think it's Smythe, who says once Scorpion is under the laser or whatever feeding it the computer, she's like, "Oh, his DNA is perfect." Like, he's just reading these letters of DNA and just being like, I love it.
The sequences. That is mine as well. New York, it's a character.
There are, I mean, I love the nicknames of the cities. You know, like when they call Phoenix the Windy City, or when they call Chicago the Big Laguna. But when Spider-Man says, "How am I going to find those two worms in an apple this big?" Doesn't that just sum up New York to you?
That is New York AF. And in fact, the only one I had found. I don't know another New York moment, this one, other than swinging through the city. Ryan, compliment Cassie.
Oh, do we have to do this part?
No. Because I was going to say, when the baby boss said, "Quickly change my diaper," and the mommy daughter said, "I guess," that is how Cassie handles you and I. We make bawling demands, and she just handles it like a champ.
I have a similar one. Sometimes she will knock us to the ground and like take our money or our candy. And she says exactly something that Vulture says. "I have what I always wanted. Thanks for the new lease on life, old man." And then just flies away.
She always brings up her age, and it's hurtful. Okay, that is Spider-Man. Ryan, before we get out of here, tell the lovely listeners about some websites they should check out.
Well, we, of course, have popfilter.co, which was provided to the world by cybersprout.net. And so we love them for that. Their digital strategy really helped us out in forming that website. It's a website that is beyond our means. I mean, if you listen to the show and then go to the website, you're going to be like, there's no way those two fucking...
These chuds.
Those chuds. Those cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers could come up with this website, and that's because of cybersprout.net.
And then throw a /Amazon on the back of that. Not on the back of cybersprout.net, but on the back of popfilter.co. That's how you shop now. Bookmark that. Hit us up on Instagram at Your Pop Filter. Hit us up on YouTube, Pop Filter Co. Email us, contact at popfilter.co. Anything else? Oh, Ryan, what's another show they should check out?
Oh, Movie of the Year is now all about 2024. And you're like, oh, man, I love the 1996 season. That is coming back with incredible guests. We will figure out what is the greatest movie of 1996. But before that, what's the best album of 2024? What is the best opera? What is the best magazine? What is the best opera magazine? All of that and more on Movie of the Year.
I've heard it's pronounced Oprah Magazine, actually.
Right, Oprah, I'm sorry. Oprah Magazine.
Ryan, do you want to know what's going on next week?
I do. We
are wrapping up What If, thankfully, and Harley Quinn is back. And the ladies are moving to Metropolis.
The big city?
The big city. The Great Laguna, I think is what you called it. And that is the show for Ryan and Mike. For Mike, I'm Ryan. Enough said.